What's up, everybody? Thanks a lot for tuning into today's video. Really excited to show you guys. I had a great discussion the other day with my good friend, former teammate, New York Rangers amateur scout, Brendon Clark. Brendon's been a scout for the New York Rangers for 9+ years, covering the New England region, scouting a ton of players from the amateur level that the New York Rangers, some of whom the New York Rangers have ended up drafting. We had a great discussion. We talked about all things, what it takes to get scouted, what it takes to get noticed. We took a lot of questions from the audience on Instagram Live as well. So hope you guys enjoy the discussion, and we'll catch you again on the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe below. We'll see you soon. Talk a little bit about what it is that you do with the Rangers, and how did you end up getting into that role, and what's your life like as an NHL scout?
So, I mean, obviously played college hockey with you, and got a little sniff of some minor pro hockey after, and yeah, I mean, I grew up in a hockey family where my dad coached and played, and then coached and got into scouting and management. So, I mean, I grew up watching videos of back then when he was doing it. It was VHS videos, so there'd always be a stack of VHS videos in our basement, and I'd go through and watch. I mean, I remember watching like videos of when he was with the Islanders and they were drafting Chara, like the videos of him playing for Slovakia in the internationals, the U18 and the U20 stuff, and watching him. I think he played in Prince George back in the day, and he was just like getting challenged all the time, and my dad was like, "Come on, you got to see that. You got to see this guy." And it was just Char just like knocking guys out, and he's like, "We're taking this guy. This is the guy." And Roberto Luongo, and that was when the Islanders had that whole ownership scandal going on with I forget the guy's name, but they did a 30 for 30 on it. Kevin Conley did it.
Yeah. Did it
And
have to do with when they drafted? Was it DiPietro?
they drafted DiPietro. Yeah,
Still paying DiPietro?
they're still paying. Yeah, that was after.
Is it after
that was Gar Snow. That was the next regime
okay.
after my dad and Milbury, but it was a gong show. It was like Charles Wang and I forget the other guy, Sanjay something, but they yeah, I mean, they got into legal trouble, and it was just not good. They ended up they couldn't pay a lot of their players, so they were told to trade like the Bertuzzis and Luongos and Brian McCabe. I mean, they had a number of guys come through there that if they had just had a solid ownership group, it would have been. I mean, they would have turned it around a long time ago in Long Island, but it was just from the top down. It was a bit of a gong show. But long story short, it was watching those videos growing up, playing. I remember watching videos on Justin Williams when it was his draft year, because that was like my age group.
Yeah.
And that one just stuck out in my mind, because I was like, oh, I kind of play like him. Like, why am I not getting drafted type thing? But I think it actually helped me just to see, be a good self-evaluator of what type of player I was, and, what work I had to do to kind of get to that next level and stuff. But that was always something that I watched and really kind of took an interest in.
Yeah.
And then as I kind of got older, it was like, I know scouting is tough, like the grind, and you're not making player money. It's you're not making a lot of money, and it's a lot of travel. It's a grind. And I saw an opportunity to do where teams have part-time guys, especially in New England, where it's just like you can get to Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, all in one day.
Yeah.
And bang out a couple games. But that opportunity to be a part-time scout and have sort of a career and have your foot in the door in hockey was something that was always interesting to me. And then kind of take it from there, like, do I want to go into this full time? Is this really what I want to pursue? And for me now, it's been I think, no, 9 years, just my 9th year. And it's been awesome. It's been a ride. I've seen the Rangers coming in to an organization where we were kind of on the rise to, I think it was, 5 or 6 years where it was like conference finals, Eastern Conference finals, Stanley Cup finals. Like it was a group of guys like Lundqvist and Stahl and Girardi and McDonough and Kreider and Stepan and Dubinsky. Like those were all guys that they drafted and signed and developed. And to see that team, I came into it as they were kind of like really peaking.
Yeah.
And now I've seen it kind of, all the trades happen and things go back to where, okay, hey scouts, like we've got 10 draft picks going into this draft. Like we've got to hit, we've got to find players, and we've got to rebuild this whole thing. So it's been really cool. Yeah, it's a weird time now with everything slowed down.
Yeah. You must have like a group of players that you're watching, this season. How did the whole thing affect, what you're doing with those guys, and are you keeping track of what they're up to? Are you how are you monitoring it?
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously no games or anything like that. I mean, there's a lot of video that you collect over the year, and I think it's a little bit more this year where I'm going to the teams to ask, all these prep school and junior teams nowadays, they have huddle and all these tools that we never had growing up.
Yeah.
The coaches are breaking down like shifts and sending them like specific coaching and teaching moments throughout the games that I can get access to through the coaching staff of the different prep school and college and even high school teams. And I just compile. We have a whole video team in New York that helps compile videos, and that's been the majority of it for the past, I don't know, month.
Really? So you have a database of guys you're watching and videos of their play and things that they like highlight, basically like a highlight reel of each guy?
No, not a highlight reel, but more so just picking certain games and of ones that I've seen and ones that other guys have seen too in our organization, and then just breaking down all the shifts from those games. So you're seeing good and bad. You're not just breaking down highlights where,
right.
You want to see the whole picture, and then we've done a handful of interviews over the phone.
Yeah.
Over Zoom and stuff like that. So
what kind of stuff are you looking for in those? Like, I want to ask both, like the videos, like the whole picture. What kind of stuff are you looking for? Are you targeting, like if you're looking for a defenseman, you're looking for offensive defenseman, or are you looking for habits? What kind of stuff are you looking for on video? And then what kind of stuff are you looking for with the interviews?
I mean, certainly habits is one thing. I mean, we kind of break it down into probably like 6 or 7 categories with skating, hockey sense, skill, shot, character, desire. There's a number of categories that we kind of rank. We have a whole like internal ranking system, and so you're kind of looking for those attributes and where guys excel and where they kind of fall short. And I think in the Zoom videos and interview process, you're trying to dig into the good points and the bad points, and kind of what really drives them as a person, and why do they want to get to that next level? Why do they want to be a pro at the end of the day? And just really dig into their makeup and family and history there. And but the on ice stuff is, we kind of break it down into categories. But at the end of the day, with kind of the eye test is really skating and hockey sense and skill I certainly have seen guys that I like that have some body language stuff that you see, like
Could you give me an
that.
example?
Like there's some kids that will be out there, and whether they're on an odd man rush or something as a forward, and they're expecting the pass and it doesn't come over to them, and they throw their head back or throw their hands back or skate right to the bench when the puck turns over, and you'd be like, okay, well, like, he's going to go back in the back check, and he goes right to the bench because he's pissed off. It's that type of stuff that,
Sure.
That's a note that when I'm interviewing that player, I'm asking, like, what was going through your mind at that moment, and you think to get off the ice instead of go back and work with the team to defend. So there's some red flags with that type of stuff.
What kind of answers have you gotten in that sense? I mean, I honestly think it's awesome, and I think we love talking hockey, and those are things I look at too. Attitude and those glaring things that as a player sometimes you don't really maybe necessarily know that people can see. When you've asked a player something like that, what kind of responses do you get? Do you get like excuses, or do you get like, is it one time? Does it because usually if it happens once, usually like that's how they behave, or
you get a mix. You definitely get a mix of answers from, I was just caught up in the moment, and our team really needed a goal, and that was,
I want to, I should have
got on my stick. It was on my stick, was in the back of the net, and but I should have gotten back. Like, that's, at the end of the day, you're looking for to acknowledge the mistake, and then, say, I realized that I should have gotten back, and, thought about the team. But, you get some kids who are just like, yeah, I mean, I don't know how he didn't see me. And it's like, well, listen, like, are you going to say that to, Sidney Crosby when he doesn't, throw a backhand saucer over a defenseman's stick, and it doesn't land perfectly on your stick? Like, it's just not how it works. And it doesn't matter who you play with. You treat everybody equally, and especially your teammates. You don't turn your back on them. And I mean, it's a mix, and it definitely gives you a lot of insight into a kid's upbringing, and where they come from, and how they sort of view themselves above the team or as part of the team, or you just get some good insights into that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Have you seen guys like make a change? Like, have you seen guys that started, like, maybe, you followed them for a bit and you've seen their attitudes improve, or is it something that usually you can spot right away?
Yeah, I mean, I think that with something like that, I mean, there's kids that are kind of over the top, that their stripes don't change.
Right.
But there's kids that, I mean, over time it's maturity. I see it a lot, especially in Massachusetts hockey these days, because of all the teams that have popped up, because all the rinks became privatized from state-owned rinks to now there's individual business owners that own a rink, and they need their ice filled all the time. And all these rinks are turned into, a junior program and a AAA super duper team. And it's become too much just in Massachusetts, where the model is a business. It's not play for your town, play for the name on the front of your jersey. Everything is a showcase, and it's playing for the name on the back of your jersey.
Everyone Sereno used to say that in the locker room. Like, I couldn't even actually fathom that. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He'd be like,
hard, smart, and together.
Don't play for it's not about the name on the front of the jersey. It's the name on the back of the jersey. I'm like, isn't it the other way around?
Yeah.
The other way around?
Yeah.
What did I miss? What did I miss the whole time?
I do remember that.
I was like,
but it's become a big problem where it's, you get a lot of kids in Mass that there's no loyalty to a team, and there's no loyalty to playing with your buddies and growing up, and just having fun playing for a town, and having that camaraderie and that bond. And every kid's, they're 7, 8, 9, even earlier than that, 7, 8, 9. Typically, though, like we're like, oh, I gotta try out for these 3 teams this spring for the team next fall, and then I have to do all these skills things during the summer. And if I don't do that, then my standing on the team will likely, go down, or they'll find somebody else that will do all the skills stuff during the summer. And it's taken away from, the athlete that it used to be, and it still is in Minnesota, Michigan, and other places where, like Florida, Arizona, California, where these kids are. It's not hockey 24/7 all year round, all the time. It's okay. We're going to play baseball. We're going to play golf. We're going to play soccer. We're going to be an athlete. Mm-hmm. And we've lost a lot of that in Massachusetts. So, and that's, long story short, and just to get back to what we were talking about, you end up seeing a lot of kids that just get they over time, these character issues kind of just stick around. And yeah.
You want me to just pop on a live stream and just be like, hey, I'm here with NHL scout Brendon Clark. See if anybody has any questions. Any questions for Brendon?
Sure.
I don't know how. We'll see. All right. We're here with Brendon Clark from the New York Rangers. He's an NHL scout, and he's going to take any questions. If anybody has any questions they want to ask about an NHL scout, what would you say? Michael Barrett 9 said, and you don't have to go into super detail, Clarky. Just be like, Michael Barrett 9 said, what made you have this job? So what made you want to be a scout? We talked a little bit about it earlier off stream, but what do you think?
Yeah, I grew up in a hockey family, and my dad had played and pro and coached with the Bruins back in the day, and then got into scouting and management. So I kind of grew up in that format, in that household. And I was watching a special on Bill Belichick's son the other day, where he just kind of broke down why he got into it. And I just found it was very similar to, you just grow up around it. You grow up around the rink and being around the game. And I just loved it. And if there was a way to be, I couldn't play as a professional player. So there was some way I wanted to be involved. And that was my opportunity, was to scout. So that's the way I kind of jumped into it.
Nice, man. Good job. We got my Alex Reed 10 said, all right, Clarky, Alex is a good one. Alex Reed said, can you sign with an NHL team even if you don't get into the draft? And can you talk a little bit about, like, getting to the NHL and what, scouts are looking for? If you're not like a super top end guy, you don't get drafted, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, you definitely can get to the league by not getting drafted. And we just kind of went through a whole period of time where we're signing college free agents, and kids that played major junior are starting to sign professional contracts with NHL teams and American Hockey League teams. Where Rob himself, he wasn't drafted. He played 4 years and signed an American League contract. And you don't have to be drafted. You're actually in a better spot as a free agent coming out of college or major junior, being undrafted, because you have all 31 teams fighting for you rather than one team holding your rights.
Nice. So there you go, guys. That's some good advice from Clarky right there. You don't, even if you're not drafted, it's actually, you can look at it as an advantage, and you might have more opportunity because of it. So keep that in mind, guys. Don't put all your eggs in one basket here. Clark, Dane Anderson 05 said, what do you look for when you're looking at a player?
I would say mostly, you're looking at a whole number of different criteria, but I'd kind of break it down to really hockey sense, skating. If you can't skate, you can't play in today's game. So certainly speed and a strong skating stride, but hockey sense as far as playmaking and being in position in the right spots, and unselfish play with moving the puck and getting into the open lanes if you're a goal scorer. But there's a number of different criteria. Character is a big one. Certainly working with coaches and advisors and agents and family of the player that we're looking at. I mean, you could tell a lot by a player that way for character. But so I'd say mostly character, skating, and hockey sense are the biggest categories that I look at.
Nice, man. If any of you guys, that's a good answer, Clarky. Thanks a lot. If any of you guys want to go live and ask Clarky a question yourself, let me know, and we'll get some people on here real fast if they want to ask a question. But let me keep looking for some questions here. Alex Reed said, if you don't get drafted, can you still make it to an NHL roster? Clarky just said that. Yeah, it's a good opportunity for you, even if you're not drafted. If you don't get drafted, now you have 31 opportunities, 31 teams fighting for you if you earn your spot up there. So it could be actually a benefit to not getting drafted.
Yep.
BH Rockets 14 said, what do you think about Rob's How to Get Scouted videos? Have you seen my How to Get Scouted videos?
I have seen some of those clips. Yeah.
What do you think, man? What do you think about those How to Get Scouted videos?
I commented on the 2-on-1, the D-man that defended the 2-on-1. Like, I mean, that was like textbook. The way he kind of held his ground and gave a little bit of a deception move to jump at the forward and kind of still stayed in his lane, and the forward jumped a little bit and then he stopped. Like he didn't end up in the goalie's crease. He stopped right on top of the crease.
Yeah,
he just shut it down, and then the play he transitioned the puck right back up the ice and broke the puck out the other way. I was like, holy geez, who is this kid?
Yeah, a lot of people are telling, like, people like those videos, but some people are, saying like, I do this stuff all the time, and I'm not getting scouted, and I'm trying to basically say that it's like, if you make a habit of making those types of plays, it's like certain types of plays that if you incorporate those kind of plays and that kind of style into your game all the time, over time, that's the kind of thing that's going to get you noticed. That's kind of what I go for when I make those videos. So
yeah, no question. It's all about habits.
Yeah, let's get somebody on here that wants to ask a question. 719 Saucy, I want to go live. All right, if you go live, you want to have a question for an NHL scout, now's your chance. We got an NHL scout, Brendon Clark from the New York Rangers, in the house. Anybody has a question? 719 Saucy's connecting. Here he comes. Hey, 719 Saucy. What's up, man? It's Buttendz, and you got NHL scout Brendon Clark from the New York Rangers. You got any questions for Brendon? Hello.
Is it hard to get scouted for the NHL?
Clarky, is it hard to get scouted for the NHL?
I would say I see a lot of players to make it to the NHL. I would say that is hard. That's hard work. But to get scouted, I mean, I've seen hundreds of thousands of players over my 9-10 years doing the work.
There you go, man. It's getting scouted. Getting scouted is you put yourself out there and you're in the game, and someone's going to see you. It's about once you get scouted, doing that work to get to that next level, man. So it's all about that work ethic. All right, cool. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you coming on. Thanks a lot for the question.
Thank you.
All right, cool. All right, anybody else want to jump on and ask NHL scout Brendon Clark a question? All right, here we go. Andrew Calora says, Rob, can I go live? I have a question for Brendon. Going live. Clark, how's your battery, dog?
It's okay. I haven't got another warning yet.
All right, here we go. This is Andrew. Andrew, what's up, buddy?
Yo.
Hey, what's up, man? We're live with Brendon Clark, NHL scout for the New York Rangers. You got a question for him?
Yeah. What were you guys looking specifically into for Capo Caco last year?
He wants to know. Did you hear him, Clarky?
What we're looking for specifically for a Caco?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not based in Europe, so I didn't see a lot of Caco. But just from I think it could have gone either way with Hughes or Caco or Kirby Dach as number 3 in that draft, and it just happened that we did get Caco. We had him number 1, and I think it's really his hockey sense, his drive. I mean, he's a man in a boy's body, and he's only going to get bigger and stronger. So I think those were some things that we kind of really focused on, and you just kind of scratching the surface with what you've seen so far this year.
Pretty sick. Cool. Thanks a lot, Andrew. Appreciate the question, man. Thanks for coming on. All right. If anybody who wants to go next, we got a couple more opportunities here. If now's your chance, You want to ask an NHL scout a question? Here we go. All right, we got Peyton. I think it's Peyton. Going live with Peyton. Peyton's got a question for Clarky here. We're live with NHL scout Brendon Clark from the New York Rangers. If you got a question for Clarky, drop it on the screen, or we'll go live too if you got a question. All right, here we go. Peyton, what's up, man?
What's up?
Here he is. This is Brendon Clark, scout for the New York Rangers. You got a question for Brendon?
I was just wondering, is like size matter in a player?
Clarky, talk about size, man, from a scout's perspective.
I would say in today's game, certainly not as much as in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, where there's only a handful of guys that made it. Now I think you're seeing more more smaller players make it because of the the clutching and grabbing rules, hooking and holding stuff that's been taken out of the game. You're seeing kids like Yamamoto and Brendan Gallagher. And I mean, there's a number of Johnny Gaudreau. You're seeing who's that?
Max Domi.
Max Domi, smaller guy. Yeah, I mean, if you like I said before, like if you can, today's game's about speed and skill, and a lot of those smaller guys had it back in the day, but it was just a different era of hooking and holding, and now with that freedom, the game's just sped up and got faster, and these guys are a big part of that.
You think as far as size, like if you're a smaller player, what kind of game do you got to bring to the table to get noticed? What is the key attribute that you can do as a smaller player to overcome maybe the size disadvantage?
I mean, speed and hockey sense, really. I mean, I think back to playing with Steve Saviano and Sean Collins when we played against them at UNH, and I grew up playing with those guys, and that was they just outsmarted and outworked everybody, and I mean they both had pretty good pro careers.
Sick. Cool, man. Thanks a lot, Peyton. Appreciate it, buddy. Good question, man. There you go. Small players. I get that question a lot from small players, asking me, size is the biggest thing. And obviously you just said it. In today's game, it's that speed. And, you see a lot of players that are smaller that are excelling in the league. So that's exciting for everybody. All right. If you got a question for Clarky, we got time for a few more. All right. I got some here. I got a bunch of questions in the questions tab. I'll fire them at you real fast. If anybody wants to go live. C Fitzy 140 said, what type of goalies usually get scouted? What do you think, Clarky?
Athletic goalies. Like you get a lot of kids that are shot blockers that are big, 6'3", 6'4", that just drop down and just do the shot blocking. Where I think most guys that we're looking at are really athletes at the end of the day. Competitive kids that can get post to post and just have a really high-end athleticism to the way they approach the game.
How can a goalie improve athleticism? You know what I'm saying? What can they do to improve that part of their game?
Goalie's a tough position for scouts. It's tough to say, man. I've seen kids that are just like not very good athletes, and they're an athletic style goalie. I've seen really good athletic style goalies that they can't read a play. They overthink it, or they can't play a puck. So there's a number of different factors that go into it. But at the end of the day, for goalies, it's about stopping the puck.
Right on. There you go, Fitzy. Good question, buddy. All right, let me know if you guys, we got a little bit more time here with Brendon. He's joining us live tonight. If you got a question, all right, here we go. We got a regular. We got my boy Sean Mason, star of the Buttendz live last Sunday. He's gonna come in. We got a question for Clarky. Here we go. Going live with Sean. Here we go, Sean. Bringing you in, buddy. Going live with Clarky. Clarky, how's your time? You okay, man?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, cool. Thanks, man. Here we go. Sean Mason. Yo, Sean.
Hey.
What's up, man? I'm here with Brendon Clark from the New York Rangers, buddy.
Well, it's good to meet your acquaintance.
All right, nice, dude. You got a question for Clarky?
Yes, actually. Now, like I'm a captain myself, and I was wondering if a captain or a right winger or left winger or a sniper gets hurt by the neck or the shoulder, how would they know they won't get hurt again from another teammate?
What do you think?
Repeat that question?
Yeah, Sean, can you be more specific, man?
Now, if a captain from any team, like the Islanders or any NHL players from any team, okay, if they got injured, like from the shoulder or neck, how would you know that the next time you get on the ice, how would you know that you won't get hurt in the same spot again?
I mean, you don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the best way to answer that question, but yeah, I guess you have to work with a doctor on that one.
Honestly, yeah, do your best in rehab, make yourself as strong as you can. I've come back from a lot of injuries, and that first time coming back from an injury, stepping onto that ice is always there's always a little bit of unsureness, I think. Hey, Sean, what I mean? So part of it's got to go back in there, take another hit, and once you take a hit or two, and you start to feel like, okay, I can do it again. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay. One more question. Now, is there any small guys on the team, or no, just big guys?
No, I mean, it's if you can play, I think it doesn't matter what the size is. I mean, like we kind of talked about that earlier with the way the game's gone with speed and skill. Smaller guys are more. You're seeing them more and more make it to the NHL and have a real impact, and that's just the way the game's going. But it is really about speed and skill. If you can skate and make plays at a high level and consistently do that, I think it's that's what we're looking for.
Beauty. Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, man. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Sean.
All right. Good question. Couple more guys, and then we're going to let Clarky get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks a lot, Clarky. I appreciate you doing this, man.
Yeah, no worries.
What's the most you asked that. We talked about the goalie athleticism. Jai Shahota said, what's the most important thing you look for a goalie? Athleticism. Let's look for some more. If you got questions, guys, drop them in the comments so we see them here. And we can go live, too, if you guys want as well. Nate Gravel 17. What do you look for in young players? Effort, discipline, consistency? Question mark.
Yeah, I would say those are all. We draft kids when they're 17, 18 years old, sometimes 19. They go through the draft again, and yeah, I mean, you're looking for definitely for consistency and effort and all that stuff. I think that comes down to kind of character. And then it's about the body of work that they put together over the year or over a period of time, and as you build a book and some reports on a player and go back and take a look at that, I think you're just looking for that consistency and improvement. And I as you talk to coaches of where the kid had played, I mean, you want to hear good things. You want to hear leadership qualities and good teammate and all that stuff. Hard worker. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, but I think at the end of the day, I mean, you are looking for that determination and consistency.
There you go. Good question, guys. A couple more here. Cleanthus Films said, what do you feel like most young players lack?
I think a lot of times today you see just a lack of hockey sense and playmaking. And I think a lot of it comes into, a lot of kids are focused on developing these skills of being able to stick handle through cones and do all sorts of tricks and stuff like that, where to me it's more about getting out there and being an athlete as far as playing other sports and not playing hockey 24/7 all year round. Take a break, play some baseball, play soccer, play golf, play whatever other sport you might be interested in, and develop yourself as an athlete to where your football, you're thinking about strategies of how to make plays, and how different formations work, and different strategies work to ultimately have success as a team, and not focus so much on individual skill. I think what I've seen lacking is just hockey sense, and playmaking.
Right on, man. I got a couple questions, and we'll go live with one more guy here. And we got TL Caroli 15 said, "Do you have connections with scouts in women's hockey? Do you talk to a lot of women's hockey scouts?"
It's becoming more common. Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a day where we are going to be scouting women's players for the NHL, more consistently than is happening today, and you're starting to see women being hired for scouting jobs over the past 4 or 5 years, and I certainly think. I mean, I'm always blown away when I see women's hockey every year. It's just seems to get better and better, and there's going to be a day and time where we are going to be there's going to be a woman drafted in the NHL.
That's awesome, man. That's great. That's actually that's inspiring to hear. Liam Simerson. Okay, Liam Simerson. He here said, I'll ask you, do you look at high school players at all or no? And I'll follow up with, what's the youngest age that you guys start looking at players and getting them on the radar for the NHL?
I mean, we do watch high school players. We drafted Chris Kreider out of Phillips Andover High School here in Boston. I think, it's common. Kids out of Minnesota high school are getting drafted all the time. Michigan, a little bit here and there. New York, there's been a handful of kids drafted over the years out of high school. I would say that is something that we still do, and we'll continue to do. Guys come on the radar at different times. When a kid's like probably 15, 16 is usually like the earliest that I would probably really go look at a player.
We lost you, buddy. Oh, sorry. We're back.
Yeah, so I would say probably 15, 16 would be the earliest.
All right, there you go, guys. High school, 15, 16. NHL scouts are in the stands watching. Make sure you guys are on top of your game always. You never know who's there watching.
Never know.
You never know who's watching. I'm going to go live. Here we go. Tommy Moore, 20. If you're still here, you had some questions here. I'm going to go live with Tommy Moore. You got a question for NHL scout Brendon Clark? Let me know. Do you go to D1 prospect camps? Hey, Tommy. What's up, man? Here we go. Here you go. NHL scout. You got a question for Brendon?
Do you scout anywhere in Boston?
I live in Boston.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, Clark. Sorry, man. Go ahead, buddy.
What schools do you mostly look at?
I mean, I see every school really around here. All the ISL schools. I see, all the teams. I end up seeing a lot of teams that are in the Super 8 for high school. I see a lot of the junior teams that are around here. I see a lot of the split season U18 teams that play before the high school and prep season start. I mean, I watch a lot of college games.
Nice job, Tommy. You had one more question in there I saw too, buddy, or no? Are you good?
No, that was it.
All right, cool. Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, what do you think?
Thanks.
You got time for one more, Clarky?
Yeah, I got one more.
Just rapid fire. All right, guys, one more. Who wants to go next? Who's got a question for Clarky? Thanks a lot for coming on the Tuesday Night Live on Buttendz. Questions with an NHL scout, Brendon Clark, good friend of mine, former teammate, Merrimack College, New York Rangers scout. Let me know who wants to go live next. All right, we got C Banksy 37. Here we go. Questions for an NHL scout. Who are the Rangers looking for with the 20th pick?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I can't say yet, but
All right. Oh, hold on. Sorry, man. What's your name?
C Banksy 37.
C Banksy. What up? C Banksy. How you doing, buddy? We got Brendon Clark from the New York Rangers here. What's your question?
I have a question about like the youngest age where they start looking at you.
I'd say probably I see kids probably maybe 15, 16, the youngest.
What do you think, man? There you go. How old are you, C Banksy?
10.
10. So there you go. Like, you got an NHL scout here talking about 15, 16 years old, but to get up to that point, to get to that level, there's going to be coaches now. They're going to be watching you at 10, 11, 12 for the next team that you're going to be on. So it's like a pattern that you got to start. It's habits that you got to start now at 10 that are going to carry through to you when you're 15, so that when the scouts are in the building when you're 15, the NHL scouts are there watching, you have a good chance to get seen by somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
I've got like same age teams already trying to scout me.
yeah, there you go, man. That's good. So make sure you listen to some of the stuff that Brendon said tonight. They're what the scouts are looking for at the next level. Hockey sense, effort, teamwork, things like that. So focus on those skills, buddy. Thanks a lot, C Banksy. Appreciate you coming on with the question, man. All right, talk to you. Yeah, for sure, man. See you soon. All right, one more. We'll do one more. All right, here we go. One more. It's going to be Carter Sagan, 97. Carter Sagan. Here we go. One more question for NHL scout Brendon Clark from the New York Rangers, sharing his time with us tonight. Thanks, Clarky.
No worries. Big Buttendz fan.
Yeah, thanks, man. OG ambassador right here, Brendon Clark. All right, is it Sagan?
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure, buddy. What's up? What's your question?
Okay, yeah, I can hear. Okay, I just got drafted the OHL.
You got drafted to the O?
For the Winter, for the Winter Spitfires.
Oh, congrats, dude.
Congrats.
All right, great. So what's your question for Clarky?
Did you guys look at OHL? Did you guys look at OHL? Like, you're playing OHL, do you guys look at people there?
Clarky, what do you have to say? He's drafted into the Windsor Spitfires, and he's asking, are you guys scouting the OHL? What do you have to say about that?
Yeah. I mean, we have we have 3 or 4 guys that kind of canvass the whole Ontario landscape. Certainly the OHL, all the major junior stuff with Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, OHL, and the WHL, and they're not only scouting the OHL, they're scouting the Tier 2 leagues up in Ontario too, and the BCHL and the Alberta Junior Hockey League, all the Tier 2 leagues up there too. So, but certainly, 100%. We have a number of guys that are watching the OHL very, very closely.
All right, beauty. Well, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it, Clarky. Thanks for tuning in. Let me just sign off. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to the Tuesday Night Live on Buttendz. Questions with an NHL scout, Brendon Clark from the New York Rangers. Appreciate you joining us, Clarky. We'll see you
Thanks,
guys.
man.
All right, live ended. Thanks, man. That was dope, dude.
Oh, good.
That was dope. I appreciate
Awesome.
it. Yeah, thanks a lot for coming on tonight, man. Spending your evening with me here. And I had a lot of fun. I'd love to, anytime you want to chew on the fat and talk life and hockey, I'd really appreciate good seeing you, man. And thanks for doing that for me. Really appreciate the help.
Good. Yeah, hopefully gives you something to kill the time here.
Yeah, dude. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Drop a like, drop a comment. See you soon.